Well, the time is near, and it's time to talk about it. This Saturday, the fight has arrived, where WBA champion Gervonta "Tank" Davis is going to be taking on King Ryan Garcia on pay-per-view. This is a fight that has been germinating for at least the past 3 years, and it is finally coming to pass. So, with an eye toward what can happen, we're going to talk about it a little bit in this video, and we're going to see what's going to happen when Davis meets Ryan. Is it going to be a cakewalk for Davis? Many people think that it will be. Will Ryan roll the dice and get lucky? It's possible. But as we look closer, we'll get a real feel for what can actually take place here. Either way, I'll be glad to see it over with. So let's talk about it. Boxing, once again, is going to headline sports this coming Saturday, April 22nd. And leading the way will be two fighters whose names have been linked to one another for the past few years. We're going to get a chance to see Gervonta "Tank" Davis take on King Ryan Garcia. This will be a battle for Davis's WBA Junior Lightweight Championship. Now, will this fight come out on top? You know what? Both men are very popular for different reasons. King Rye happens to be the social media darling, and he is a guy that a lot of people can get behind through social media. In the meantime, Tank Davis happens to be a rising star in boxing because he's small in stature but carries a big punch and knocks the majority of his opponents out. And people love knockouts in boxing. So, when you talk about pitting these two men together, there's an opportunity for things to really be exciting. And though Tank Davis be a little bit of size when it comes to the two men, he still carries that big stick. And Ryan, who happens to carry a pretty big punch himself in his vaunted left hook, is the type of fighter who can deliver a split-second exciting ending to a fight himself with that vaunted left hook. So, looking closer at the two men, you have to understand that King Rye is entering this fight, and that left hook of his that put him in position to now have a record of 23-0 with 19 KOs. And it's interesting because Gervonta brings something to the table similar, and his crowd-pleasing style, where he finishes fights, has his record now looking at 28-0 with 26 KOs. So the consensus is, in this fight, somebody is going to get knocked out. Now, if Ryan had been competing more frequently, putting in the work more often than he has, I could give a bit more consideration to his chances. But out of his last 6 fights and last 3 opponents being Javier Fortuna, Emmanuel Tago, and Luke Campbell, who happened to drop Ryan for the first time in his career, they are not the type of opposition that can prepare you for a Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, Davis, on the other hand, has fought a bit stiffer opposition over his last 6 fights, including most recently Hector Luis Garcia, who had upset Little B-Hop in a fight that everyone gave him a great deal of credit because he seemingly came out of nowhere. Prior to that, it was Rolly Romero, who talked up a great game and helped promote the fight to the degree that people really came out to see what would happen. But it just took a few rounds for Tank to get adjusted to what Rolly was trying to do, and he took him out in grand fashion. Prior to that, it was Isaac Cruz, the little mini tank of a man himself, where he got a unanimous decision in that fight due to hurting his hand early in the fight. So Tank was basically a one-handed fighter from the middle rounds on to the end, but he still pulled the victory out. That fight gave Cruz a lot of luster, and people felt like he's now a guy to be reckoned with in the division. But he wasn't near to defeating Tank Davis. So as we look at these two men, Tank, whose age is 28 years old, and Ryan, who's 24, there are another contrast of things as Tank brings in a southpaw position to Ryan's orthodox position. Tank is 5'5.5" with a 67.5-inch reach, and Ryan is 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. Now, what does that mean in real live terms of fighting? Well, Ryan has not been known to utilize his extremities, boxing, negotiating real estate, keeping the jab out in front of his opponents, setting up the left hook. He's primarily gone out there looking for the opportunities and with timing, land that punch and get people out of there. On the other hand, the southpaw Davis looks to go in there and be more calculating with his opponents. Davis has been known to figure people out, feel the rounds out, not wade in, judge where power is coming from, and also whether or not someone's conditioning and strength is enough for him to take risks early, or does he need to allow the fight to wear on a bit? That's ring IQ. That's ring smarts. And if he has to wait you out to the 8th, 9th, or 10th round, Tank is more experienced enough to know he can do that. Will Ryan be able to handle this situation? This is his first real big fight, and how he handles it is going to be very important. Will the event get to him? If it does, it can affect the fighter several ways. One of the ways that it can affect someone is it can affect your conditioning. You can get too hyped, too amped up too much early on, and it can deplete your conditioning. Will it get to him psychologically, where he feels the pressure that he has to do something and open himself up by making mistakes that Davis can take advantage of? Or will he simply get cold feet? It has happened. There are a number of ways that this can affect a fighter going into his first big fight psychologically. So you have to understand These are things to look out for. Davis will be ready. And even though he's talked in the media recently about being a little concerned about Ryan and everything, what I've learned about Tank Davis and his ever improving maturity is he knows how to handle the media a little bit better than he did just a few years ago. He knows how to speak and say certain things that'll get people talking, that'll get someone's ear and make them take note. Very good marketing, because at the end of the day, when a fighter professes vulnerabilities or even displays them to some degree, people get a little more interested because people feel more of a closer attachment. Psychological games. And let's not forget, he had the biggest sports star in boxing in his corner, and that be Floyd Mayweather Jr. So Floyd has definitely shared things with him that he'll be able to take and carry forward. Now, Ryan Garcia has had the fortunate experience of being in the camps with the likes of Canelo Alvarez, and he has been handled by Golden Boy, which is headed up by Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins. How much mentorship, true mentorship, that has come from those men has not shown itself yet. But that is valuable experience if Rai is willing to listen. And I believe he has trouble with that because we've heard throughout this training camp process that Joe Goosen, his trainer, has admitted to he not putting in the full time in the gym with him, only days out of the week instead of the full week. How will that work out? If Ryan is training himself or if he's doing things on his own, will there be a benefit where he can gain in that way? It's unorthodox, but could it be valuable? We'll have to see. But I'll tell you, a lot of things are riding on this fight with the future of boxing. Oscar De La Hoya has said that this fight is going to save boxing. I doubt that. What needs saving is the fact that the fighters of today are not facing each other in the big fights that will make the fans come home. This could be a start to that. But if it happens to be something that's over quick with a flash, it could be damaging. Because if that happens, the consensus is it will be Rai who falters under those circumstances, not Garcia, not Tank Davis. But if Tank is able to put on a show where the people are like once again mesmerized, it is going to do nothing but elevate himself and put him amongst other names in the sport that you just want to see him in the ring with. Now, is that something worth our while? Absolutely it is. Is it something that we're going to see? We hope, because when you look at a fighter like Gervonta Tank Davis, you have to admit, small in stature, but carries a big stick, and he can get guys up out of there. And that's what people want to see at the end of the day. But let's not forget his skill set, because Gervonta can box as well. He has fast hands, and he has been known to be able to put combinations together. And when he does it, it's electrifying. That walk-off home run punch that he has comes out of nowhere. Ryan's left hook comes with timing. Timing beats speed, but experience can win overall. Let's see what happens. But what do you think? Will Ryan be able to pull off an upset here? And that's exactly what it would be, an upset. Or will the Gervonta Tank Davis train continue to roll on? I lean toward the latter, but there's always a chance for something special to happen. And right now, the sport of boxing could use a little special. What do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what your thoughts are when it comes down to this fight. Will it be a knockout or will it go to decision? Leave comments and discuss. I know that there are fans on both sides, and both fan sides are looking for their guys to pull it out. Personally, I just want it to be over, and we'll see what happens very soon. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.